All right, some other stories making news this week. General Motors facing an investigation over the ignition recall, plus a money deal for roads, and feel free to spit in Grand Rapids. Real quick, so GM, this is a big deal for them in the eyes. And will consumers start to back off and say, oh, wait a minute, GM's product isn't as good as I thought it used to be?
It's never good for consumers when you have this sort of safety issue. What's intriguing to me about this case is these violations and this cover-up, apparently, occurred in the old GM.
Before bankruptcy.
Under
Started
law,
back in 2001, right?
Doesn't exist anymore. And by the way, for 4 years of that period, it was owned and basically operated by the federal government. I think that's what makes, this hugely intriguing in how the federal government responds, and whether you have some hint that it's going to be prosecuted as a criminal case, but against who?
Well, it'd be against the board. I mean, for most of that time.
But that's the old GM. That company that was wiped away.
They went away, and I guess I don't know how that works. It's certainly an embarrassment for the company that now we're learning that as early as 2001 they had some hint about these problems and didn't fix them. I mean, this is the kind of thing that can sink car companies.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
People have to trust that they're safe.
All right, well, let's go ahead. $215 million to fill the potholes that keep plaguing my drive everywhere
That's
I go.
about $1 a pothole.
That's
Right.
or car repair. So everyone was able to come to a decision this week. Nice to hear for drivers.
Sort of.
Sort of.
It's just not.
Oh, you guys are so half.
It's not
half
the kind
empty.
of investment. It's people It's people looking at cost, not understanding value.
That's absolutely right. I mean, we have to have a long-term solution. And I am again not a big tax hike guy, but I think in this case the users have to pay for keeping these roads smooth.
All right. Okay. And the last item on our headlines agenda. Out in Grand Rapids, they used to have an ordinance banning spitting. You could not spit in Grand Rapids, but this week they lifted that ban. So now feel free to go to Grand Rapids and spit in public all you want.
It's a wild, wild west out there, isn't it? I'm not sure I wouldn't have kept that law on the books. There's nothing more disgusting than be walking along
people
the
spitting
sidewalk and having some big honker laying on in front
This
of you.
was about tobacco, though. I mean,
this was about tobacco and the spittoons back in the day, right? But they just never got around to. Also a safety hazard if you slip.
Yeah, right. That's right.
My grandmother used to chew tobacco, and she just spit it and sit on the front porch and spit it everywhere. It was the nastiest thing I've ever seen.
That's a visual. That could be some good Nolan home movies I'd like to see someday.
You'd be a little boy accidentally walking by and get one in the side of the head. You'd think disgusting.
All right. Thanks, guys. And that's going to do it for My Week. Thanks so much for joining us. Check out MyWeek.org and find us on social media during the week. We're on Facebook and Twitter at MyWeek. For all of us at Detroit Public Television, I'm Christy McDonald. Have a great night. I'll see you next week.